Hi, I am Jason Whitlock. That is Marcellus Wiley. That dude.
Yes, sir.
Want to speak for yourself, the most fearless show in sports. Coming up, we'll tell you if it's time for the Rockets to trade James Harden. But we start today with the Lakers. All right, one day, Hollywood is going to make a movie about Magic Johnson. It's going to be called The Pursuit of Happiness 2.0. It's going to chronicle all the jobs Magic quit in pursuit of happiness. Yesterday, Magic was back on television pretending he's Chris Gardner 2.0. Gardner's the real-life homeless dad turned stockbroker who the original Pursuit of Happiness movie was based on. In responding to an ESPN.com story that painted Magic as a bullying, absentee Lakers president, Johnson touted his bootstraps business bona fides. Johnson told Stephen A. Smith and Michael Wilbon, "Lazy? I have built a $600 million business. You cannot be lazy going from playing basketball and winning 5 championships. So I wasn't lazy as a player, and I'm not lazy as a CEO and business owner. That's never gonna happen." Let's be clear here. I've seen no one call Magic lazy. I've seen his behavior as president of the Lakers characterized as inconsistent, naive, bullying, and non-existent. If I had to summarize the complaints about Magic's management style, it would be that he wasn't in the office enough to legitimize his dictatorial approach. Say what you want about Cersei Lannister or her son, King Joffrey. They sat on the Iron Throne every day. They showed up to work. There's nothing worse than an absentee dictator. The more Magic talks, the more it becomes clear he quit the Lakers for the same reason he quit his TV show, The Magic Hour, the same reason he quit as Lakers head coach, the same reason he quit ESPN's NBA Countdown show twice. He figured out he was no good at the job, and it interrupted his pursuit of happiness.
Today, I'm going to step down as a president. I had more fun on the other side than on this side. I want to go back having fun. I want to go back being who I was before taking on this job.
Magic Johnson excels at one thing, being Magic Johnson. Major companies have paid a fortune to partner with Magic's persona, and that has made Johnson filthy rich. I'm not knocking the hustle, but can we stop pretending that Magic is Chris Gardner working an unpaid internship while raising a 5-year-old son? Magic hit the genetics lottery. Less than 4% of American men are 6'2" or taller. The average NBA player is 6'7". Magic didn't take on the world to become a wealthy NBA player. He battled the 4%. Again, I'm not knocking the hustle, but there are serious advantages to being tall in America that extend well beyond sports. Magic parlayed his advantages into a brand that made him ridiculously wealthy. However, it in no way prepared him to be a great day-to-day leader. Last night, he once again whined about Rob Pelinka gossiping about him. Anyone who carries a president title is going to be gossiped about by his underlings. That's what goes along with the $10 million salary the Lakers paid Johnson. Magic didn't have the courage to tell Jeannie Buss he was quitting.
Somebody gonna have to tell my boss, because I know she's gonna be sick, but I know I couldn't face her face to face and tell her.
Have you really not told Jeannie yet?
No, I haven't. I couldn't stand to tell her.
But we're supposed to believe he has the tummy to fire Luke Walton and Rob Pelinka. Those are tough conversations that require deliberation, preparation, and proper presentation. Those tasks interfere with the pursuit of happiness. All right, joining the desk now is Fox Sports NBA analyst Jim Jackson and Rick Bucher of Bleacher Report. All right, Marcellus, I want to start with you, but I want to inject here. Rick said this morning on Undisputed that Kobe Bryant wants no parts of the Lakers' recruiting efforts this year, which to me is another red flag, so another guy jumping ship.
Yeah.
Has the Magic Saga done irreparable damage to the Lakers organization?
No, it hasn't. It's amazing being an athlete and in sports culture, covering it, no matter what your perspective is. Sometimes we get lost in these absolutes and these extremes. I learned 2 things. Coach used to always say, success is not fixed and failure is fixable. Think about it. If you're the Lakers right now, use yourself as an example. Was your success guaranteed? It sure seemed that way in the 80s. How did it look in the 90s? Not so much. And then they rebounded early 2000s. Now they're going through the roller coaster. 2010, won a couple of championships. Like, the roller coaster is the guarantee. Like, no matter who you are. Look at Detroit. I grew up, I was like, Detroit is the bomb. What happened to Detroit? Chicago. Oh, amazing. Jordan. Where are they now? So this can flip as quickly as it did flip on the Lakers. So in terms of the damage caused by Magic Johnson, it's temporary. I actually think his cachet brought them to a greater place than what they were after the 4 losing seasons. So Magic Johnson, his last 2 years, brought the greatest player on this planet to the Lakers, helped the brand out. But in terms of damage, you got to weigh the pros and cons, but I think they'll be fine.
The damage is not irreparable to the Lakers. They can work their way back from this. Is there damage? Yes. I would say that the irreparable damage is done to Magic Johnson. Now, I know we've talked about this previously. We've said, hey, he's quit before. This isn't anything new. The difference is he quit from a talk show. I never thought of Magic Johnson as a talk show host. He quit as a coach. Okay, he was a great player. What I've always thought was he was a leader. I always thought he was a businessman. I always thought that you could count on him and in his realm of expertise. This was supposed to be his realm of expertise. And now to go on not once but twice and to savage this franchise, you're burning the franchise down for your own good, to save your own image. And to me, that's not what I associated with Magic previously. It was all about he was the guy who made everybody better. He was the guy who went into the urban areas and started Starbucks. He was the guy who dished the ball. He made it better for everybody else. Now I am seeing a side of Magic Johnson that is selfish as anything I've ever seen. And that, to me, is the irreparable damage in this situation.
I think the issue is 2 things. One, I think it damages him more if the Lakers move on to be successful right away after this, okay? But let's think about Magic in his business career. As a business owner, an entrepreneur, he has his hands in a lot of deals. So that means he's not engaged on a day-to-day basis in what he does. So that's the same mindset he brought to the Lakers. He told Jeannie Buss, I'm not going to be here every day, because that's how he runs his business. He has multiple partners that handle the day-to-day stuff. And then when he has to make a decision, he comes in, big guy, and makes a decision. So I think where he probably overestimated his genius was thinking that being the president, you can do that. And you can't, because as the president, you got to understand the scouting aspect of it, the recruiting aspect of it, what's going on the pulse of the team, what's going on in the corporate office environment. If you don't have your pulse on that, then you're going to miss the little things that it takes to be successful. And that's where I think Magic probably overplayed his hand.
Jim,
let me say this, Rick. I want to go back to why I think they have a civil war going on. That's why I think there's some real damage here to the Lakers, because they've been down, and I know that they've had a war between the Buss brothers, sisters, blah, blah, blah. But now you have Magic Johnson, arguably your greatest brand on the Lakers. He's going after Jeannie Buss's head, and he's going after Rob Pelinka. And now you have Kobe Bryant. To me, when Kobe says, I'm tapping out, it's like Kobe said, wow, this is a wildfire that can blow any direction, and I'm not getting burned up in it. And then you toss in LeBron James is here with the last few years of him being an elite player on the line. This thing is totally combustible.
Well, look, it's too many chefs in the kitchen, and I respect Kobe to just say, let me get out of here. Either I'm going to become a waiter and serve this food, or I'm just going to get out the restaurant right now and let this calm down. Smart play by Kobe. Think about it. Kobe, in his relationship with Magic Johnson, relationship with Rob Pelinka, relationship with Jeannie Buss, is hearing so many different things right now. The correct thing to do is say, I'm not going to side, I'm going to pause and let you guys figure this thing out together as big boys and big girls.
I think that's an option.
Right.
But you can't install your agent and then say, I'm going to bounce.
Well, you know, in part, this is Kobe doing some brand protection as well.
Yeah.
But why? Because he's
getting
linked to stories that are true or not true.
Yep.
He's also he's the ghost consultant. And Kobe's like, wait a minute, I'm big enough to say I am or I am not. And I just think that his name is starting to enter into ways and circles that he doesn't want that.
Well,
so
especially if you can see where this is headed, why do you want to be associated with something that is not ultimately going to work out if you have the wherewithal to separate yourself from it. One of the things he texted to me was, they keep trying to drag me back into this, and he does not want to be part of that. You made the point, though, that being the president for Magic, being the president of a team, you can't just be the overseer. You have to be in the weeds. You have to understand what's going on every level in every department. If there's any business that Magic should know that and have understood it coming into, it's this particular job, that he can't approach it the way he does his other business.
And that's the part where I'm saying is that because he's been so far removed from the management side of basketball, that he's been heavily involved in the business side. That's been his approach on how he does partnerships, and he continues to grow his wealth. And I would say this, is the damage bad for the Lakers? Yes, because it's the Lakers brand. It's always going to be something, when something doesn't go right with the Lakers, you're going to get more attention. I would rather be the Lakers, dysfunctional, okay, than Milwaukee or Memphis or New Orleans, because I can recover a lot faster.
What about the Clippers?
Huh?
Yeah, and that's the other.
Here's the thing. Remember what happened with Sterling. When all of this was going on, we talked about, damage control and the fire, and look what happened. It got turned around.
Yeah, they got Steve Ballmer, the richest man in sports.
But it was a management change, right? And I'm not saying that things can't change with the Lakers, but they have to look within and put the right things in place. And if they can do that, then as the Lakers organization, you have a better chance to come out of this than a lot of other organizations.
You just reminded me of another great point. Just though they're dealing with Steve Ballmer now, not Donald Sterling. And Steve Ballmer is as committed and has the right people, and Doc Rivers on TV looking great, sounding great, talking about Kawhi. They have everything buttoned up on the Clippers side, and everything's unbuttoned to the point that Kobe's like, deuces.
But it's all money, good money. Just because you have salary cap space, that doesn't mean you go get the players you want. See, at the end of the day, teams have salary cap space. That doesn't mean you're going to get the free agent you want.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So let's
say the Clippers screw up on free agency and don't land it. To me, they're still in far better shape than the Lakers.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, today, yeah.
And look, I'm the last person that want to move off of a Clippers conversation.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not going to let y'all come at Magic Johnson the way that it seems like we're coming at him. And I respect what you're saying, but you got to remember the genesis of this position. It didn't exist with the Lakers. There was no such title as team president. I get it. 29 other franchises may have a team president. Jeannie was in a desperate situation. They had lost 4 straight seasons. Her dad was gone. There was a direct correlation of failure, her name, and what she has dropped the ball in terms of her father's legacy. What did she do in those desperate times? Desperate measures. Create a new position and then insert forcibly Rob Pelinka as his tag team partner. Magic's like, what's this? All right, well, you know what, Jimmy? I am not a day-to-day person. You know what, Jeannie? I am not a day-to-day person, but Rob will be. And then what Rob did was took that same position and tried to thwart himself beyond Magic's powers and backstab him. So why are we so mad at Magic when he already?
Listen, I'm not mad at him. Well, I'm just saying his mental mindset of the position.
I want to be clear, though, in terms of Rob Pelinka backstabbing. All we've heard is there's gossip. That they gossip about me. I don't. If there's a boss who doesn't show up, I don't care whether his name's Magic Johnson or Bill Johnson. There's going to be gossip and employees talking about you. And again, this is where I say I don't blame Magic for thinking he could do in this business what he's done in his other business. Kind of oversee from afar and occasionally. That's what he's been successful at. Again, Jeannie Buss, real people should you in the NBA, and now that Steve Ballmer has shown up, and now that the way the NBA is now with this analytics and where basketball has gone, it's not a job you can do in your spare time. So she should have never gave it to him. He should have never accepted it, because that is, people are living and breathing this stuff 24/7. And if you're not willing to do that, you've made a big mistake. And you've damaged yourself and you've damaged the Lakers. And now y'all fighting in public, calling each other's names and Rob Pelinka gossip about you.
Wait. But who started the public fight? Who was the first one to step out there and start to talk about the inside dealings of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Magic.
That's what I have a problem with. That he was a success or a failure, whatever he did in that position, however he approached it. Look, that's his business unless I was there on a day-to-day basis. I don't know the exact measure of that. But to come out and to say, I love Jeannie and I love this organization. And by the way, this is the most jacked up situation I've ever seen. And they wouldn't let, like, who are you serving here? Like, why take those shots? There's not a need to do that unless you're just trying to make it about, hey, it's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Well, I will say this. Magic sells his brand to the tune of $600 million. Last thing I can do is allow you to attack my brand, which is my image, which is my persona. So therefore, I will defend that even when I want to be silent. Once I hear abuse allegations, you force me out this corner again.
But he came first.
Okay, I don't know. There have been so many leaks. Depends on how much you cover the Lakers. I don't know what was leaked for with intention, what was leaked, and
I'll help you with your point. I think he did that preemptively, Rick. There were all kinds of rumors that this story was coming.
that we knew that.
And so he preemptively, he tried to strike first before they
it came
did.
out.
Look, but I think most people, honestly, and I don't let me generalize about most people. Let me tell you what the abuse allegations ring hollow to me.
Hollow.
They ring hollow to me. And I think most people would ignore that. But it's the naivety of thinking, I'm going to run the Lakers from afar. And then when it doesn't work, I'm going to quit because Rob Pelinka's gossiping about me. Well, if I quit because people were gossiping about me or my feelings were hurt or I couldn't work with people that were gossiping about me, I wouldn't exist. I'd be a homeless man.
Whitlock, that's not the fullness of what he was saying. What he's saying and what shouldn't be drawn as a parallel is corporate America structure and the dynamic in an athletic organization. Power in an athletic organization is not by presence. Let me give you, every team I played on, the owner outside of Jerry Jones is the only owner I saw more than once a week. Every other owner, gone.
Magic's
that's
not
fine.
the owner.
Exactly. I'm going through the power structure. So then you go to like team presidents in terms of interaction, whether it's day-to-day or they're scouting or they're doing some brand work, whatever it may be. Like the power is not directly correlated the same as it is in corporate America to the tune of what's going on in Golden State in that same article. Oh, well, they're all in every meeting. Golden State's like, no, we're not. Oh, well, we're always around the team. No, we're not. The interactions are different. So I'm not trying to say that Magic Johnson should have been away as much as he was. But let's not just undermine all of his power by saying since he wasn't there punching the clock, that he wasn't doing his job.
Let me say this. But let's go back to this. It's hard to make the right decision when you're not engaged all the time in an athletic form.
I get that.
You can't do it.
In any.
Magic said that the big part was that he didn't have the power that Jeannie said he was going to have to make decisions. Okay, but if you're not vested, now again, I can't say what he was vested in or not, but it doesn't seem like he was there all the time. And if that's the case, it's hard to make the right rational decision because there were decisions being made that Rob and Magic went and made on the side or Rob made that Magic didn't like. It's a disconnect. And if you don't have the presence in an organization like an NBA team, a football team, baseball team, to evaluate these decisions, you're going to have these kind of conflicts.
I want to say one thing before you go again, Rick. This is not an abuse of Magic. It's a observation about what celebrity adulation does to a person, anybody. And so Magic, since 18, his whole life is just filled with applause.
Fair.
Applause. That creates a delusion. Anytime you're that celebrated, and again, people think I'm just saying this as shtick or whatever, but I love the fact that I have passionate critics. It keeps me sane. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me engaged. When you don't have that, and Magic for a huge stretch of his life has had nothing but applause, it makes your ego think, man, I can do this sitting at home. You know, Pat Riley might be in the office every day, but I'm Magic Johnson.
But that's not fully accurate. I mean, let's not dive. Magic has had applause, nothing but tragic Magic. He had to depart the game when he still had game left in him. Look, all those failures we listed in terms of coaching and talk shows, like those are still failures. Those are not applause. That's like
any room Magic walks into.
Oh, you gonna love him?
Yes. Dude, that does
and
something
Jeannie
to your
Buss is
brain.
the same way?
That's not, I understand that. That's
Right.
part of the problem.
All right.
Fair enough. The biggest issue that I have, Jim, you never worked in the front office for a team. You played in the league. You just told me this is how it works in the NBA. This is how an athletic organization works in terms of what you need to know to be in the position that Magic Johnson was in. You're telling me that with all of Magic's experience, that he wouldn't know that about the NBA, that he wouldn't recognize, having played in it for all those years, having been around it for all those years, and working these other business, he wouldn't know as well as all of us that you said it yourself. Athletic organizations operate different than businesses.
Right.
They have a different dynamic. It's about the relationships and the chemistry from top to bottom in an organization. So Magic coming in and thinking, well, I'm going to do the job this way, where I'm not going to be around, but I'm going to be successful. It's like, wait a minute. You have to be delusional to think that this is going to work.
And his situation provokes delusion. He just read all the stories and everybody that's said on TV, on radio, oh, when Magic walks into the room, there's just an aura. And that's all BS because he's not Jesus. And so it's all BS. It's just things we say. Magic walks in the room, and he's the tallest guy in the room, and oh, my God, that's Magic Johnson. That's it. But there's nothing special about Magic. Puts on his pants, takes a dump the same way we all do.
Let me say this. It's not.
This is
my last one.
Yeah. I don't have any reporting on that, so I'm going to take your word for it.
Let me say this. I'm going to say this. This is my last words. It's not delusional. His position wasn't properly defined. He was a brand ambassador with cachet who was a glorified consultant. They termed it incorrectly. He was nothing but Jerry West, half the age, and was supposed to go get you the best player on the planet.
But he doesn't have West's resume.
Look, he has the cachet. And so he was not supposed to be the MIT, Harvard basketball analytics guy. He wasn't supposed to dive that deep into the weeds. He was supposed to show up in a room, oh, Magic's here. LeBron did it. Only one person from the Lakers organization got a call from LeBron once he came. One! It was that guy.
Marcellus, if you had the job, LeBron was still coming to
the shop. You gonna stick around?
Time now for a big story sponsored by the all-new 2020 Kia Telluride. Give it everything. All right, let's move to Houston, where the Rockets could be ready to take some drastic measures after another disappointing postseason. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski is reporting that general manager Daryl Morey is being aggressive in his desire to upgrade the roster, and that all players and picks are available in talks, though he added it's hard to see them trading James Harden. But I think they should consider trading James Harden. Why not move on?
Move on? No? Yeah. I don't have much to say on this one. That's not smart. I got a lot of other choice words, but what? James Harden is like top 5 right now, arguably the best, if it depends on how you want to look at it. Yeah, the NBA, not the conference, not his league, his division. Here's the thing about it. We have to make sure that we understand what the landscape turns into in terms of KD staying, KD leaving, what the Warriors will look like, what other teams will look like after the free agency. James Harden should always be a mainstay for this team going forward. Chris Paul, whole different conversation. Bye-bye, Chris Paul, if you can. That said, contention is going to change after this summer, what it looks like. This team was in second place, basically, in their eyes, in their conference, getting stopped short by the Warriors 2 years in a row. Don't make drastic changes, and to me, that's too drastic.
Yeah, from a business standpoint, he may not be the face of the league, but he's one of the faces of the league. The beard, from a selling point in Houston, you can't put a price on that. It's why Adidas did put a price on it, with a lot of zeros on it. The issue is not with James Harden and how he plays. It's how the Rockets play around him and utilize him. I mean, are we really talking about trading a guy who still has the chance of being the MVP in the league and was arguably, or at least in some circles, was considered the most unstoppable offensive force in the league? I can't get quality, I can't get assets back that are equal to that once that's been proved. I need to figure out how I can maximize that, how he can maximize his ability. To me...
Or find a general manager who thinks like you who'll make a dumb trade with him.
Okay, fair. Well, but...
There it is.
But again, it's always... Any trade that I've seen in the league where I'm going quality for quantity, I'm going for multiple pieces, I'm not going to trade James Harden for an equal talent. In the game of basketball, I need the superior talent, and I need it concentrated in one player.
Go ahead, Jim. I have a thought.
You want to get it?
Yeah, I have a
Go ahead.
and it'll help frame up your... I think what Houston is saying is, hey, man, this is a league where if you really want to win, your superstar has to play both ends of the court.
No. I think it's this. It's two things. One, it's hard to come off the Chris Paul contract, especially at his age and what's going on. So it's going to be difficult to move that. Those two did have contentious times during the course of the year, but like big brothers and younger brothers, they fight and they get back together. Second, you may be able to get rid of maybe an Eric Gordon's contract, a Clint Capella, who may be available to get in another piece. But I'm going to say this, and I said this before. The issue with the Rockets is how they play. It's the philosophy, the mindset. And that comes from who's in the
coach
pilot seat. It's a coach. If you really want to compete and beat Golden State, you're going to have to change the way you do some things, how you play. Now, you can utilize James Harden in a lot of different ways, but it has to be utilized the correct way, the efficient way. Now you got shooters around. You got ways that you can win. Until you change that philosophy from the bench, then it's going to be the same old Rockets.
You make an outstanding point, Jim. I mean, outstanding. And it makes no sense that they wouldn't make a move on D'Antoni. If James Harden's on the table, why wouldn't D'Antoni be fired? That seems like a better option. And to me, Mark Jackson would be a great fit in Houston, a guy that maybe could reach James Harden and get him to give some kind of effort on the defensive end. But again, what I think Daryl Morey is saying, again, Jim disagrees with me. I want to hear you guys' thought. I think they're saying your superstar's got to play both ends, and this guy.
Well, it is a lame duck year for D'Antoni, pretty much. The contract talks, they say, have stalled. He's expecting to go into a last year of a contract, and if he doesn't win it all or get past Golden State at least, then it's over for him. So he'll outlast. Like, they both kind of are under the gun if you want to believe in some Harden trade talk.
I don't have any reason to believe that Harden won't play at both ends or play more.
We've got plenty
at
of
both
evidence.
ends.
Have you not been watching him?
He hasn't. Has it been demanded of him? Or has it been, we ask so much of you at the offensive end, you get a pass at the other end? Steph Curry is not a great defensive player. He's not. Teams attack him all the time.
Yes.
But he gives that effort. He gives you what he can, and that is enough. So I don't know that your best player, there's one thing about I have to play at both ends. I have to be good at both ends.
No,
there's a distinction between those two.
But it's a distinction between guys who love and take on the challenge of being a better defensive player. Kobe was like that. Michael was like that. LeBron is like that. Kawhi is like that. James Harden has never been like that. He's never taken on the challenge to say, not only am I going to beat you offensively, but I'm going to frustrate you defensively. So we're trying to compare him to the other guys who took on that challenge without the coach, without management saying this is what you have to do. But I do think you have to hold him accountable that he's not the big liability that breaks down your defense.
Fair enough.
Gotta go. Sorry about that. Let's move to Kawhi Leonard, who has been absolutely dominant on both sides of the floor during the Raptors' run to the NBA Finals. Not surprisingly, Kawhi's performance hasn't gone unnoticed by the teams hoping to sign him this offseason, including Clippers head coach Doc Rivers, who says that Kawhi is the most like Michael Jordan that we've ever seen. I totally agree with Doc. He's not saying that Kawhi is Michael Jordan. He's saying that's the closest we've seen to Michael Jordan. And I agree.
I'm getting out the way because he's praising them properly and he's recruiting. He's doing both, as he should. But
hold up, Rick got something.
I think Rick got something.
Come on, Rick. Come on.
So the second half of the sentence is, he's the most like Jordan that we've seen that we would like to play for the Clippers next year. That's the whole sentence, okay? Then he's telling the truth. Have we forgot about a guy? We talked about him on the show earlier. Kobe Bean Bryant. If I'm reading this correctly, he's the most like Jordan that we've seen. No. I was sitting here trying to figure out, am I going to use the word that's laughable? Is it ridiculous? Or is it ludicrous? I'll give you all three of them. How do you, look, it's blatant. In fact, it's not recruiting. This is freaking tampering. This
Oh
is
my God! There we go.
Are you
New
kidding?
article on Bleacher Report.
Yeah, exactly.
Tampering.
Listen, you got to go to the other part of that quote, though. He said, in terms of big hands, he can post up.
Right.
He's a great offensive player, and he's a great defensive player.
Exactly.
That was the capsule that he put it on.
And it's still playing.
I'm not saying that he's not recruiting,
Yeah.
but when you look at it in regards to the intangibles and why he said it, that's what he was basing it on. He's not saying he's the winner Michael Jordan is.
Active player.
Why did he say it? Why did he say
Because he
it?
recruits.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I didn't say he's not recruiting. I didn't say that.
This isn't a truth sayer. This isn't, you know what, I got to make an observation here because I've never seen anybody look like Michael Jordan as much as
we
Kawhi
add
Leonard.
some context to your comments as well, Rick? I just
Absolutely.
want to add a little context.
Sure.
Who were you texting with this morning?
That would be Kobe Bryant.
Oh, okay.
So he name dropped and gave him a shout, right?
Clout chasing. Clout chasing.
So, I mean, let's
Keep my relationship. Keep my relationship.
Oh, wait a minute. You
Relationship.
suggest I'm protecting that?
Oh, you did.
I'm just
we
pointing
just
out
brought
the
up on your
obvious.
text.
Well, you brought it up earlier, then you brought it back to us, so we figured it
We
was,
talked
it was
about it
something
earlier.
that connected.
I'm not arguing that Kawhi is better than Kobe Bryant. I'm not. He's certainly not as accomplished. He's not better. I'm not even saying Kobe's impersonation of Michael Jordan was incredible. It was incredible.
Yes.
It really was. It was incredible. I get. But I'm not saying Kawhi is more like Jordan, but I get where Doc is talking about in terms of Kobe was an excellent defender. I don't think he's on Kawhi's level as a defender. And then
Kobe was like
Time
8,
for
9,
Whitlock.
10 time NBA. I played with Kobe.
Yeah.
Now, can he guard the 4 and 5 like Kawhi? No.
not as strong.
No, but he's
Well,
not
that
as
counts.
big either.
Right.
No, I got it.
And
He's
we
not as
weren't
big.
asking that at that time
Exactly.
in the game. I mean,
I don't want to denigrate Kobe. I really don't, because, and I get your point in terms of, Kobe held his tongue out like Mike. He did. I mean, it was a
he had
full-on-
everything.
Yeah,
he had when you watched him play, he utilized things from Jordan's bag. If you want to say that Kawhi, we haven't seen a guy have an impact at both ends of the floor to the level that Michael Jordan has since the Kawhi's had the biggest impact
Since Jordan.
Okay, I can hear that. But if you're asking me, he's the most like Jordan that we've ever seen. No, man, when I close my eyes and I think of Kobe,
I got it.
He impersonated Michael Jordan.
There's no question, and Kawhi has cornrows and everything.
They loose, too.
And he has a complete different aura.
No grip.
than Michael Jordan. But in terms of carrying weight at both ends of the court, and Kobe carried a lot of weight. But man, I think it's a fair
hold on,
thing to say.
It's hard to compare. This is our first year that we saw Kawhi do it. Really carry.
Yeah.
We seen Michael and Kobe do it over a number of years. Let's
see it in
give
San
him a
Antonio?
few more years to see if he can carry.
And we saw Michael do it 82 games most of the time.
Finals MVP
Kawhi
though
did it
before. Let's
62.
not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's not slight Kawhi that much.
We didn't see Kawhi in San Antonio?
No, not like this.
Finals MVP.
Hold up, not like this.
Not
like
in terms of the ISOs on offense.
Right, yeah, we
Not
didn't
like
see,
that.
we didn't
They
know,
play that way.
but the question was back then, can Kawhi be the offensive player we think he can be when it's his team?
Yeah.
Nobody really knew that because in San Antonio, the system itself dictated something different. And why are you smiling? Why are you the players he had around him that knew how to win and less was expected of Kawhi. So the expectations were different in Toronto.
No,
Yes.
I just keep coming back to the
what?
motive behind saying it.
You can't get over that.
No, because it's obvious.
It's the best way to not tamper, but
He's not
do what
he's not
you want.
Magic winking.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, but it's no.
He didn't wink.
The only thing missing is the wink. That's the only thing that's missing.
What's the matter when your motives and the truth line up and are in agreement?
In alignment right
and,
there.
Yeah, they're just in alignment. The truth is, and again, if you watch that series, man, there was at no point when you watched them in that series against Milwaukee, when they won those 4 straight, there was at no point he's like, damn, this feels kind of like Jordan.
Okay,
There had to be some moments like that.
Here's why I don't immediately go to Jordan. Because you're playing the Milwaukee Bucks and you're playing Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Who's likely the MVP?
Okay, but you yourself have said
I know.
He got exposed.
Yeah, by Kawhi.
Michael Jordan was knocking down Hall of Famers, established guys. He was beating the best of the best. If I was seeing Kawhi do this, who did?
I mean, Magic was at the end of his run, basically, when Mike got him. Isaiah Thomas and the Pistons, they didn't have any real problem.
Clyde Drexler?
Now you're talking about Clyde Drexler. Larry Bird was at the back end, so now
What
that's
about
a
that
different
Seattle
level.
team?
Huh? Yeah, again, none of them guys compared to the
Gary
all-time
Payton?
great.
But no, defensively?
Those were established stars that he beat. He beat a young, coltish, unprepared for the moment
MVP.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
MVP.
He beat a
MVP.
Joel Embiid and a Ben Simmons. Look who he went through. Like, look who he's doing it against.
Show me his Scottie Pippen. Show me Kawhi's Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. And his moments, Jordan's moments, to push off,
Show
to
me
fade
his
away.
Phil Jackson.
That's Brian Russell. That's not like.
How did we go from the comparison of
Well,
Kawhi
I'm
and
just
Jordan to
saying.
what they have around them?
matters.
The heart of it for me is watching Kawhi. Did I immediately think of, wow, I've never seen anything like this since Jordan? No.
Well,
that thought never
You know,
occurred
it
to
should
me.
have. In simple, this is what. That's cold. In simple, this is what Doc Rivers is thinking. Who's the best two-way player that's giving me championship moments right now? Kawhi. Who's the best to ever do that? Jordan. Now, you're going into the deeper calculus
There
of
ain't
it.
no way in hell that was his first thought. His first thought was, damn, we got to get Kawhi. What can I say?
Rick, when the guy hit the fall-away jump,
Thank you.
Yes.
and he's sitting down and the shot, you didn't think of Jordan?
No.
Yeah.
No.
What?
I
Push off Brian
thought it was a
Russell?
heck of a shot. I didn't
Yeah.
think about,
I thought
that
of Allen
reminded me of
Hughes.
You
Jordan.
went to bed saying that was just a heck of a shot.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
a lucky one, too.
I thought, hey,
That guy.
But here's
That
my thing.
guy.
I don't immediately, because I played it, I don't relate him to Jordan. I just don't. Jordan to me is on it's just another stratosphere when I look at players, okay? Do I think Kawhi is great and I think he has more to accomplish? Oh, of course. But when I see him perform, do I say, reminds me, no.
I don't either, but who's the best two-way player in the game? Who's
is.
giving you, who?
Kawhi.
Kawhi. Who's giving you championship moments? Who's giving you stuff that is going to be iconic posters, memorable moments?
but we have that every year.
Yeah, you got it
Yeah,
every
yeah,
year.
yeah.
You got it
You got
every
every
year.
year.
That shot you think is every
Look,
year?
Oh, the Dame Lillard hit a shot like that. Half court on
That's the same year.
OKC. But I'm just saying, but you got moments like that within the playoffs or in the regular season where you're going to have those defining moments. Now, I'm not taking anything away from, but that's not my first thought. Is thinking Jordan.
On the shot, my first thought was Allen Houston. When was the last time I saw
in the
ball?
court- in the
a ball
court?
bounce? Yeah,
Against the Heat?
Miami.
Against the Heat?
Miami.
Against the Heat?
Yeah, going up, taking
Would
a
you
shot, and the ball
stop?
bouncing around. The
Would
ball.
you stop?
He's comparing the play, not the player.
I'm comparing.
play.
I'm
You
comparing
thought of
the play.
Allen Houston.
Because of the play.
I
Because
thought
of
of
the
when
play.
was the last time I saw a big shot
We gotta go.
win a series
We gotta go.
that
I mean,
bounced
Rick,
on the
my
rim
God. Hey,
that
coming up.
many times?
Whitlock and Wiley. Time to get antisocial. Jim Jackson, TJ Houshmandzadeh.
TJ.
Joining us, former Bengal star. TJ Houshmandzadeh. Time to get He heard me yesterday. I asked him about the Wheezy shirt. Wheezy shouts he heard.
Come on, we doing it. I wrote up the sleeves for this one.
Yeah. I got on Wheezy shouts him out and he quits wearing the shirt.
That's my guy, man. We gotta get him on the show, Whit. Come on now.
Make the call, baby.
My slime. I ain't got his number yet.
Hit him back, Twitter. Hit him back.
How old are you? I
What's
need his
popping
number.
on the Twitter streets?
You don't want nobody.
All right, guys. We're gonna start with OBJ, who is going to a new level with his dedication to the Cleveland Browns. Seems to be fully embracing his new team because yesterday he posted this IG video showing off his new custom-made Browns-inspired Rolls Royce. Even went as far as to make a tiny version of himself that emerges from the hood of the car. I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was clean. It looks like he's trying to prove he's happy to be in Cleveland. Is he doing too much here?
Hell no. That's
Right.
I mean, look, I'm guilty as charged of doing the same damn thing.
You did that?
Well, not exactly, but
You
it was,
did that.
I had a powder blue Ferrari.
I seen
played
that
for-
thing. I seen
I
it.
played for the powder blue Chargers.
Clean,
yeah,
right?
I ain't had nothing coming out the hood, but everything else looked the same. Yeah,
Guess what you paid for it? That resale value went down right away.
You weren't worried about that.
Man, at that time, how much
Man,
money?
whatever.
Don't do
Resale
that.
value,
Don't do that.
gone.
Don't act like you didn't have a youth. Don't act
But
like you didn't have
I
a-
never did anything like that.
Okay.
Never, because
Okay.
resale value is gone on
Ain't
a car
nobody
like that.
thinking about no
I
resale
was.
value at that.
I was.
Hey, you buy my car from me.
Hey,
It's
listen,
no
I
deal.
was. How much can I get off this thing when I'm done using it?
It may be
That was me.
It may be a lease, and he's just gonna have to pay the penalty. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Live your life a little bit.
Hey, man.
Come on, man. It's clean.
I'm not.
Come
I
on,
can't
Whit.
complain, but hell, I used to be young.
He having
I
fun.
bought a big gold chain. It was the dumbest thing. I wore it twice.
See?
Paid thousands of dollars for it. Wore it twice.
Can I have
But hey, how much you get for it?
No, I ended up losing it like 10 years later.
You're supposed to sell that thing back, man.
I was embarrassed.
You can't hide with that car, though.
At all.
Ain't no creeping in Cleveland.
At all.
Odell here.
Odell again?
Again.
That's too much.
And that's why he did it.
Oh, good point.
That's
Good
why
point.
he did it.
I'm here. Good point. Good point.
Switching over to a couple of Hall of Famers, Deion Primetime Sanders took to Instagram yesterday, posting videos and pictures of himself and Randy Moss hanging out and fishing together. Looks like these guys might be just as good as fishing as they were on the football field. Moss and Prime took a picture lined up against each other and posted to the ground with the caption, "Who you got?" So I want to ask you guys, which one was more dominant in their prime?
That's easy for me.
It is easy.
Deion.
Deion, right.
Deion guaranteed you Super Bowl. And no shot at Randy.
None.
Randy Moss, whenever he showed up, it was the highest scoring offense. It was the greatest show in football. But in terms of championships and shutting down half the field and just bringing the team a confidence like, oh, we about to do this, Deion.
Comparison is the thief of joy. You know why they say it? Because when you got to compare these two, somebody going to feel robbed.
Yep.
Randy Moss is great. Deion is Mount Rushmore in football for me, for life. So Randy's not that. But 17 touchdowns as a rookie and just killing
man,
us. He was a lot.
Look, he a receiver, so you know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Deion was my favorite player, so I'm going to go with Deion. And the only reason I'm going to go with Deion is because Randy Moss has to rely on somebody to get him the ball, whereas Deion can kind of dictate his own success.
Great point.
But he dictated, too, how offensive.
He wouldn't have dictated with Moss, though.
Well, no, that's a whole different animal, one-on-one with those
You don't
two.
think he could have shut Moss down?
No.
Shut him
No.
down?
Yeah.
No,
What
not at
year?
all.
What Deion?
Who the quarterback? Not with Tom Brady as a quarterback. No chance.
Hold on.
No.
San Fran going to Dallas, Deion versus Brady 07 with Moss. You don't think he's shutting Moss down?
He ain't.
What?
No.
Oh, man. I don't know. Defenders, it's easier to get you out your game.
And the thing is,
you'll get your 4 catches.
no. Moss just going down the field. He ain't running no routes, and he's still going to get down the field.
Okay, one more. Here, hypothetical. Deion, San Fran, Moss, Oakland.
Of course. Hey, Moss ain't want to play no more. You see how I got real? Yeah, it got real.
Time now for Darnell's question of the day. Take it away.
All right, guys. So yesterday we talked about Donovan McNabb and Reggie Bush was on the show and talked about how athletes tend to go through an identity crisis when their careers are done. So I want to ask you guys, did any of you go through an identity crisis when your playing careers ended?
No, I didn't. I never believed that I was just a football player, in part why I went to the school I did, Columbia. I also realized that it was tough to find my passion beyond football. I didn't think that broadcasting would give me that same energy. But I always knew my highlights were always in front of me. Like when I was in college, my highlights in front of me, going to pros. When I left the locker room, I got into arguments. I talked about it in this book. Well, my teammates, they're like, man, this is going to be the best thing ever to your life. I'm like, no, it's not. This is my phase. My next chapter will be the best thing. And then I look forward to more going forward, working with you, big dog. So not identity. Passion, yeah. Where are you going to have the platform? Where are you going to have the structure to show your passion? Yes. Identity, man, I never thought I would.
What about your confidence? Did football, being a football player, did that infuse your confidence and maybe transition in a way that?
I actually used all my attributes from football to give me confidence in the real world. I think the real world is easier than playing football. Give me a double-day Parcells when I can't walk versus coming up in here in this air-conditioned booth that gave me the suit. I got researchers. Like, look, and this is my world, so I understand that some people have a difficult world. Yeah. But the work ethic, the pain tolerance, the discipline, the determination to make it pro, translate that to the real world, it may be an easier task.
Here's the difference, I think, and I started preparing myself for the end of my career where I was playing. So when I retired, I went into broadcasting a year after I was out. I was real confident, wasn't worried about it. So I get that part. I think I lost my identity when I got hurt while I was playing.
Say it. I feel some of that.
And the confidence of
Yes.
who I used to be to who I was going to have to be. It took me a minute to kind of get that back. Not when I was done playing,
Bingo.
but my third year when I tore my ankle up,
Bingo.
I did have an identity crisis.
Bingo.
I didn't have one. I think for me, it was more so is like, what's next? I never was one that, oh man, I had to be in front of the camera. I'm an outspoken person, so I'm gonna speak regardless. But when football was over, it was like, man, what am I gonna do next? And luckily for me, my daughters was playing sports, and so I kind of just, I went into coaching them. I missed the competitive part of it, of the me versus you. And I kind of took that to the female sport world, which wasn't the smartest thing. But that for me is how searching for your identity, you look at Reggie, I mean, man, Reggie is arguably the greatest college football player ever. He comes into the NFL with all this adulation and expectation, and he dates Kim. For him, I could see that. But for somebody like me, I came in with no fanfare at all.
Yeah, good point.
TJ, it sounds like you transitioned from an athlete into a passionate father. That's
Yes.
where your identity comes
Right,
from.
right.
You and your daughters. Jim, you got into some businesses, I think.
Yeah, when I was playing.
And so, you know, I'll say for me, obviously, you know, college football player, a big part, I spent my whole life from like 4 years old. Yeah, I'm a football player. And then it all ended in 1989. And I immediately just started saying, oh, now I'm a journalist. And that became my identity. And now as I get older, to be quite honest with you, the thing that I'm trying to impress upon people is like, I want you to see me as a Christian. That's my identity. So anyway. Whitlock and Wiley, TJ Houshmandzadeh, and Rick Bucher are back. All right, let's move to the Raiders. Sponsored by the Capital One Saver Card. What's in your wallet? All right, John Gruden and company have added some big personalities this offseason, from Antonio Brown to Vontaze Burfict. But their latest signing, bad boy offensive lineman Richie Incognito, has some people wondering if they've added too many guys with questionable past, a concern that General Manager Mike Mayock didn't hesitate to dismiss.
I think at the end of the day, you can't have all Boy Scouts. And what you have to do is you have to do your homework on each individual case. And we've done our homework. We've talked to an awful lot of people. We brought him in. We talked to Richie. We told Richie what we'd expect both on and off the field. And we expect him to adhere to that.
All right, there's a popular trope about football that you got to have some thugs in the locker room to be a success.
Yeah.
I don't buy it. Do you?
I do. I buy it through experience. I guess the best way to illustrate it is the bell curve. 10% on one side, 80% in the middle, 10% on the other side. You need a 10% that is conservative. Hey, man, it's curfew. You need to go to bed. You know those guys? Then you need 80% who's just sitting there like, look, I'm here to do my job, do it as best I can, take care of myself, my family. Then you need the other 10%. And that's the ones that here we're talking about right here. The lunatics. The ones that are like, hey, man, look, coach about to go to bed. I'm about to go get it. And I'll see y'all in the morning. Why? It's not just for the party and social element. It's for those moments in practice and in the games when you need to push through that wall and someone is not even thinking about it. They do the unthinkable for you. They're the ones that set the new norms in terms of extremes. So I played with some guys. I'm like, this dude is a lunatic. He lived it on the field and he lived it off the field. But I think they are a perfect mix when you have the locker room being a consensus of other guys as well.
You can have all Boy Scouts. You're not telling me that you can have all guys, and some of it's the definition of Boy Scout. What are we saying that a Boy Scout is? I know some guys who were Boy Scouts. They're crazy. I mean, I ended up going to school with them. They were crazy outside of doing what they did as Boy Scouts. I believe that you can't have a quorum. It's a matter of how many. The issue with the Raiders isn't that they have a Richie Incognito or they have an Antonio Brown. Or a Vontaze Burfict. It's like, how many? The issue is when you get a quorum and that begins to tilt the locker room, or those rambunctious types begin to become a distraction, that's where you go sideways. I disagree with the statement. I think you can have all Boy Scouts. I think you can have all guys that are about the right thing and be successful. The question is, can you afford to have one or two who are not? And I would say yes. What the Raiders are doing is they're pushing the envelope on how many guys that can go sideways that they're going to have in that locker room.
Before TJ goes, I challenge you to tell me a team that has won that had all Boy Scouts.
Zero.
Go. Thank you, TJ. I'm waiting. No, I'll give you time after TJ.
The meaning of Boy Scout can be debated. You need, this is the knowledge I give. You need that dog that you're walking down the street that everybody is like, oh, that dog is cute. Can I pet it? Nah, don't come pet the dog. You have to walk the dog with a muzzle. Because don't come pet this dog. It looks good, but don't. You got to have 3 or 4 of those guys on your team for every team I played on had. I wouldn't put Antonio Brown in that. Off the field, Richie Incognito.
Read up on Antonio Brown, but go
Richie
ahead.
Incognito, you up front.
That part.
That's what you want up front. You want that toughness, that dog, that, don't come pet it. You got to have that up front. And if he steps out
I had
of
a
line,
lot of that with the Bengals and couldn't win in the playoffs.
that right there
That's
is...
what I'm talking
Carson
about.
Palmer knee.
No, that's where you had the
Carson's
committee.
But if we had too many.
Exactly.
You have to have just the right amount of guys that, like Marcellus said, will push the envelope, will push you. I might take a penalty here and there. Boy Scout, that word can be debated, but you need some dogs on every team.
What about the Patriots? Why can't we point to the
Patriots? The Patriots have them. They just don't come out and say, we're signing. Brandon Spikes. Dog.
Edelman.
Edelman is a guy that me and Rick would call a Boy Scout.
Boy Scout?
But who's a little crazy, yeah. All the
But
Boy
he's not
Scouts
a
ain't
Boy
choir
Scout.
boys.
He's not a Boy Scout then. I thought the Boy Scout. Look, for clarification purposes.
I always wanted to be a Weebelo, by the way. Just because I liked the name. I didn't know what it was, but Weebelo just sounded
I'm going to
cool.
give you another one. I'm going to give you the biggest dog I know in the NFL was Brian Waters. But he behaved himself wonderfully overall. Now, I've seen he's threatened coaches. People are afraid of him.
I spent some time with Brian Waters,
he's a
too.
dog.
Yeah, he is.
To me, he's not a distraction. He's not he's not going to do anything in the game that's over the line, things like that.
God, I forget who used to come on our show, play for Miami, the Jets.
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox.
What's that?
Brian Cox.
No.
He played for the Patriots.
He's over the top.
Yeah,
he's over the
top.
top.
Right, and he was a winner. See? You need some.
You're right.
Dallas
Not
Mavericks.
not all.
Dallas Mavericks.
That year,
Miami Heat.
I don't want to call Jason Terry out. Jason Terry. What do you say, Miami?
Miami Heat. Miami Heat.
Udonis Haslam. Come on now.
Whoa. Tough.
I mean,
Udonis was about
we're not
all
saying
the right
criminals
things.
we're not going criminal. We're just saying.
I know.
He's going to go there.
It goes to the definition of Boy Scout.
Good point.
All right, before we go,
He had me thinking.
I have a few additional thoughts on the Raiders signing troubled offensive guard Richie Incognito. Of course, woke Twitter has spun the signing into a story that further reveals the injustice faced by the symbol formerly known as Colin Kaepernick. Transracial troll Sean King got the ball rolling with his 1.1 million Twitter cult. Talcum X tweeted, Richie Incognito suspended for bullying and conduct detrimental to the team, caught saying racial slurs, forced into a psychiatric hospital, later arrested at a funeral home armed and dangerous, missed multiple seasons, just signed by the NFL before Colin Kaepernick. Incognito has long been an NFL bad boy. We all know this. Incognito has a history of mental issues, but the Raiders clearly care more about his established history of blocking the man in front of him. This is a long-held NFL tradition. It's really a long-held tradition of the entertainment industry. If you can do your job and not negatively impact sales or ratings, the entertainment industry will ignore pretty much all of your character flaws. This is a truth many in the media refuse to accept about the NFL. It's just a popular TV show. It's an apparatus in the American entertainment machine. Richie Incognito is a white gangster rapper. I'm serious. He's represented by Lil Wayne Sports Agency. The entertainment industry doesn't care about the mental health, character, or behavior of its musical, TV, or movie stars. Rock and rollers drink and drug to excess and frequently engage in inappropriate relationships with their young fans. Hollywood celebrates it. Have you ever seen the movie Almost Famous? Surely you've heard your favorite commercial rapper brag about selling drugs and shooting N-words. I'm supposed to be outraged that Incognito signed with the Raiders for the veterans minimum? Really? How come? Everyday popular culture and the social media outlets tasked with supporting popular culture tell us to glorify and worship entertainers with criminal personas far more negative than Incognito's. Incognito's signing says nothing about the plight of Kaepernick. It says far more about who the media will and won't hold accountable for their behavior. The absence of accountability is often a signal of an absence of respect. More Speak for Yourself after this. Whitlock and Wiley joined now by TJ Houshmandzadeh. Time to play Hot Clock. We'll each get just 24 seconds to give our hot takes on some of the biggest stories of the day. All right, let's start with Dak Prescott, who just got some big praise from Cowboys quarterback coach John Kitna, who compared Dak to Hall of Famer Warren Moon. Marcellus, you think it's a fair comparison?
Man, I thought it was some high praise, and then I heard what he said. Oh, he throws a tight spiral like Warren Moon. Keep going, John Kitna. Is that it? All he said was he has a tight spiral. First of all, stop being lazy. Study the game. Give me somebody else other than somebody you played with. I mean, I get it. They got the same size. They both stiff. They both black. They got bald heads, big heads. He ain't giving him nothing but, all right, he throw a tight spiral like him. Man, I was off this. No love.
TJ?
So I played with Kitna, and I was like, wow, he comparing him to Warren Moon, and I did exactly what you did. Oh, he just throws a really tight spiral. But if you're not going to read the entire story, hey, Dak Prescott, you just like Warren Moon, now go play like him then. If you really go play like him.
Preach. Hall of Famer.
All right, that was pretty good. Look, do I think it's fair to compare him to Warren Moon? Hell no. No. I mean, Warren Moon's one of the all-time greats. Warren Moon's story is one of the all-time great football stories of all time. Dak Prescott wishes he was Warren Moon.
So it's not fair?
No, not fair at all. All right, next. Elsewhere in the NFL, the league's collective bargaining agreement lasts a couple of more seasons, and negotiations for a new one are ongoing. Even still, the NFLPA is warning players to prepare for a work stoppage. Marcellus, I think a work stoppage will happen.
Absolutely, it's going to happen. Absolutely, it's going to happen. Why? First of all, this is man versus a machine. Man is represented by the NFLPA. Machine is the NFL. The machine is producing stars and giving them lucrative contracts. Look at our biggest stars today, whether it's Tom Brady, Russell Wilson. These are guys who had no fanfare coming to the league. The NFL thinks its machine is working, and they're not going to concede on anything that's major. They'll give you marijuana, they'll give you some other stuff, but not the real stuff.
TJ, think work stoppage happens?
Oh, man, I was involved in the union for a long time in my career. 7, 8 years I was a rep. Talk with DeMaurice Smith. I will say this. I don't believe it's going to be a work stoppage. It's too much money involved. It's way too much money involved. The players, you're not going to get guaranteed contracts. Focus on other things.
Yeah, there you go.
Focus on benefits, health insurance, things of that nature. But a work stoppage, no way.
I agree with you, TJ. I don't think it happens because I think things are going too well for ownership, and they want to cut a good deal. And I think things are going too good for players. Ain't nobody walking away from $15, $20, $30 million and quitting work for a year. Hell no, it doesn't happen. All right, to Arizona State, where Marvin Lewis just joined Herm Edwards' staff as a coaching advisor. Lewis lasted 16 years as the Bengals head coach, making the playoffs 7 times. Marcellus, do you think he deserves another head coaching job in the NFL?
Oh, absolutely. In the same lights as a Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick. Let's see what you do on your second stint. Look, 16 years there, exceeded expectations. Nobody wanted the job in the beginning. All of a sudden, you got a little comfortable, fat, lazy, maybe not coaching with the same edge. Let's see him get another chance at redemption. I absolutely want him.
All right, TJ, your coach.
I was in Cincinnati pre-Marvin Lewis. And so I saw what happened prior to him getting there, and then I saw the change that he implemented when he was there. Does he deserve another head coaching opportunity? 100%, no question, because I was there before and after, and I saw the things that he, hell of a coach, great person, is going to be a father figure if you need it. Yes, he deserves another opportunity.
I get killed for this because I'm a huge Marvin Lewis supporter. Think he's one of the best coaches in the NFL. Think he definitely deserves a second shot. I think Cincinnati and what Mike Brown and the ownership provided him initially starting out was incredible what he accomplished. Marvin Lewis deserves a second chance as NFL head coach. Uncle Jimmy's here. Uncle Jimmy, you got any thoughts on the show so far?
Oh, boing, boing, babe. Better believe I do. First of all, babe, let's get to the big dummy of the day, okay? How in the hell would you know how Magic Johnson goes to the toilet, baby? I mean, at some point or another, please feel free to keep some things to yourself. Boing, boing.
Yes.
Who are you?
Sammy Davis Jr., baby. You don't remember? I mean, come on. I'm the only black guy that didn't get a part in Roots, babe, okay? I mean, you mean to tell me I couldn't have been a Chicken George, huh? Ben Vereen gets a part, but I don't? Hey, look, I was Uncle Jimmy before Uncle Jimmy got here. You understand me? I've been the hardest working man in show business.
All right,
I was part of the Rat Pack when they wouldn't turn it black. Come on, man. Listen to me, baby.
Let me get to a highlight from our discussion earlier about Magic Johnson.
His shoulders.
One day, Hollywood is going to make a movie about Magic Johnson. It's going to be called The Pursuit of Happiness 2.0. It's going to chronicle all the jobs Magic quit in pursuit of happiness.
If you're the Lakers right now, use yourself as an example. Was your success guaranteed? The roller coaster is the guarantee. Like, no matter who you are, look at Detroit.
Chicago. All right, Sammy Davis Jr., you got any more thoughts here?
Now, listen, first of all, did I say how crazy it was to be here, man? I'm loving walking around the lot of Fox, looking at all the foxes, man. You understand? Everybody's beautiful, babe. You understand me?
Do you have any thoughts on Magic?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do, man. I got to tell you. Tell me something. Why do they treat Magic the way that they do, babe? They treat him like he's straight do.
No, they don't. They celebrate Magic.
Wait, hold on. Excuse me, babe. Let me speak. I understand you're the biggest man in show business. Tell them what I said, Darkness. Okay. Hey, listen here. Before Magic, I want to tell you, the Lakers were just straight fakers, babe. Do you understand what I mean? And as a matter of fact, speaking of fakers, babe, how about that Rob Pelinka, man? Straight fugazi, man. I understand. And listen, let me tell you something. I saw the interview yesterday, Marcellus. I seen Magic. He said people talked about him behind his back, man. Easy, babe. Let me tell you something. You think hanging out with Frank Sinatra, let me tell you something. No stuff. There I was. I was chilling at the MGM. Frank Sinatra calls me. He says, "Hey, Sammy, I'm sending a babe over there for you. I want you to keep an eye out for her." Just your idea of a joke, Frank? But you know what I did, Magic? That's my brother. I kept an eye out for her. This is back a time when a guy could tell his buddy, keep an eye out on your girl, and the girl would know what he meant. You understand, man? Matter of fact, one of my biggest hits I wrote about Magic. A good friend of the show is David Allen Greer. Want to hear it? Okay, well, here it goes, babe. Okay. Let's not forget the Lakers. Back in '82, Magic came down the floor and shot a jumper or two. It was the Magic Man. Oh, the Magic Man can. Now the Magic Man would shake and then he would bake. All his moves were satisfying and delicious. Talk about our childhood wishes. Marcus, what about those no-look dishes? Now, who could get LeBron to sign with this team? The Lakers been sucky for so long, and you know what I mean. It took the Magic Man. Oh, the Magic Man can. The Magic Man takes everything he takes. As satisfying and delicious. Hey, come on, take me home, babe. I can't keep doing this too much longer. My eyes gonna get stuck. Come on, babe. I don't have any insurance here. Get to your rating, babe.
Get to your rating. Bail them out. We got 4 seconds.
Oh, no.
I'm stuck.
Oh, we got time. Oh, my God. Listen, I got Magic. Almost a dumpster fire stats. I got him before it too. Job performance, I got him at a 1. All-time greatest 25.
That's straight bananas,
Character
babe.
6.
Let me tell you. It's bananas.
I've dropped his authenticity, Sammy, all the way down to a 10.
You are off,
Magic at 42.
I am double you. Twice the love for Magic Johnson right here.
It's because you're an original, babe. You're an original.
There you go. Thank you, Sammy. Wow. $600 million, you got him at a 1? Like, that's his job right now, to run Magic Johnson Enterprises. Look, I think it's a lot of shots coming at Magic Johnson. Respect for him of being transparent and answering those same shots. Put himself in a bad position just by title, but he pulled off a job. He got the #1 player in the world. 84. 84.
Can we get a little more of the Magic Man?
Yeah. Forget me.
The Magic Man takes everything he makes, satisfying and delicious. Talk about your childhood wishes.
All right.
I love you.